Hello and welcome back to Comic Lyra, the podcast where we comically
and literally
review comics. That was my co-host Jamie. I'm Ryan, and I will check in with him before we properly get started because he has worn a delightful green shirt today.
Yeah, I had a christening to go to.
So it wasn't for the episode topic?
Dude, I am. I basically worked naked today. I'm not dressing up for you, mate.
To mention nudity this early into the podcast.
Hear the music.
Is classic Comic Lyra. And you've probably seen from the title that we are covering a Green Lantern comic.
That's why you mentioned the green shirt. Yes, I wore the green shirt today because we're talking about Green Lantern. That's why I did that, Ryan. That would have been really cool if I'd noticed what you were doing.
That would have been. And because we're covering a Green Lantern, as we always do, we should start the episode, as we always do when we cover Green Lantern, with the old Green Lantern oath. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. And I tell you what, peek behind the curtain, I sprung that on Jamie to be a bit of an arsehole, but you handled it magnificently.
I'm going to be honest with you, if you'd let me do that on my own, it would have been a more powerful, dramatic reading from me.
Like a Brian Blessed.
Well, because, should we compare it? Should we let me just do a dramatic reading?
It's probably going to be better than Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern movie.
In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light.
See, I was expecting a little different. I was expecting a little more like, in brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight.
I do a reasonable Brian Blessed.
Yeah, but you didn't then. That's all right.
In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight.
And now here's Alan Moore.
Do it. I love your Alan Moore. I love your Alan Moore so much.
Because it's so good, right?
Honestly, it warms my heart.
In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. And if you are a new listener, it is like this all the time. And we do get to the comic.
Yeah. We normally get to we made a resolution about 2 years ago that we'd get to the comic quicker. Today has been bad. But so do you want to do some
Well, let's talk about what it is first, shall we?
Because what it is. So it's Green Lantern from the mid-2000s.
Yes. So what's interesting about this, for one thing, the reason we're doing this, Green Lantern TV shows coming out on HBO, looks really good, really tepidly.
Is that why we're doing this?
That is why we're doing it.
I don't know. You just sent me a Green Lantern comic and I was like, cool, we've never done Green Lantern.
That is the reason we're doing it. But the TV show looks really interesting. HBO, it looks like, genuinely, Green Lantern version of True Detective Season 1. Like, it's that kind of vibe.
What?
Yeah. Do you want to see the trailer?
What? So, like, Matthew McConaughey, True Detective?
Like, that vibe. Like, again, I'm not saying it's the same quality, but I'm saying, like, tonally.
No, but even that's, like, that season of True Detective, right? Good. But tonally speaking, really unique. Right? Like, really, they really hit on something with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very obvious why they're borrowing that for this. So, although fans, when the first trailer came out, they were a bit kind of like, oh, so we're not even showing any aliens or spacesuits or rings or power or anything? And the makers were like, just fucking calm down. Like,
there's going to be all of that shit,
we're gonna get
obviously.
To it. All right, we'll play a bit of the trailer and get your immediate reactions. So I made the mistake of showing Jamie the trailer that had all the Green Lantern stuff in that was a response to the fans, where DC were just like, here's the green stuff. Don't worry, stop crying about it.
So it definitely falls in... right, I know I shouldn't be reviewing the trailer, but remember recently I said that I can largely tell what's going to happen in something from the trailer because they give too much away?
Yeah. I mean, let's play it now then, because I'm going to be watching this. I don't think all the episodes are not going to drop immediately, so it'll take a while to verify, but let's get on the record your prediction for what's going to happen in the Green Lantern TV show.
I mean, it's basically going to be the rough plot of Men in Black.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
Young apprentice replaces alien hunter. That's the vibe. That's the vibe.
Do you think, though, that there's going to end the same way, then?
What, with the new Green Lantern replacing the old one and him dying in some kind of mysterious fashion?
I mean, that's one way they could go with it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think is going to happen.
Okay, we've gone on the record, and then when I finish the series, I will verify if you're correct.
I'm going to watch it.
No, you say that now, and then you're not going to.
Yeah, because it looks good. I think for me, I get really strong Men in Black vibes from it.
Oh yeah, it's in the sense that they've gone. This is mostly on Earth, and there's an alien problem. There's some kind of alien thing happening. We've got to find it and deal with it.
It looks good though. Yeah,
I'm
really
excited
good.
for it.
We should. I mean, the people like it when we review movies, Ryan. So maybe once it's out and we've both watched it in its entirety, we should dedicate an episode to just chatting about it.
Yeah.
Or maybe when episode 1 drops, we dedicate an episode to just talking about.
Yeah. Does this look
1.
good?
How do we feel about episode 1? Did we like it? Was it fun? I mean, it comes out next week?
It comes out. It will come out. I think the day Sunday night before this episode comes out.
Awesome. So it's out. So next week's episode, I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
I would like us to dedicate an episode just chatting about it.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know if we'll have an episode's worth of stuff to talk about it, to be fair. Like, it could be shit as well.
It could be gash,
shit.
couldn't it?
Yeah.
But it has Kelly MacDonald in it.
Yeah, she's great. She's great in everything.
So, because we talked about it very briefly, and your head went straight to Boardwalk Empire.
Yes.
But obviously, for me, it's like Trainspotting. Like a young Kelly MacDonald was fucking iconic in Trainspotting. She was incredible.
I think I went to Boardwalk Empire because she's just in that more, like, as a percentage-wise, she's in that more than she was in Trainspotting.
Yeah, I suppose Trainspotting, she's kind of another round character, although she has a pretty notable role in T2.
Yes, yeah. Well, they had to. If they could get her back, they had to. Anyway, we should probably get back to the Green Lantern stuff as we are
Green Lantern.
to tangent. But, so, we're covering Green Lantern, and specifically, we're covering the 2005 era of Green Lantern, the return of Hal Jordan.
Yeah, why did you pick this?
So apparently, I looked high and low, because cards on the table, I'm not a Green Lantern guy.
No, me
I've
neither.
never been very strong in it. This is my kind of dipping the toe into actually properly reading some stuff about them. Apparently, this is the best run of Green Lantern ever. That's what people have said. Now, we are just covering like the first 4 issues, essentially. So we're not looking at it as a judging the entire run. We're looking at it from a, if you are people like us who are like, I've never read Green Lantern.
You're a bit Green Lantern agnostic.
Exactly. I'll dip my toe with this. Does this make you want to read on?
That's why we're this ran for 6 years.
Yeah. Like
this ran for a long time.
60-something issues, I think. Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And it really built the modern Green Lantern, like, lore. Like, it introduced all this stuff that is now just, like, synonymous with Green Lantern. Like,
so is this where they got all the content for the best Green Lantern media, the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern film?
Oh, well, if that film had done well, they would have continued, yeah. You know the funny thing about Ryan Reynolds, and I this is someone else's take, I've heard it, I'm regurgitating it, but one of the greatest tricks that Ryan Reynolds ever pulled is convincing the world that he's only made one bad movie. He's like, oh, Green Lantern, that was awful.
Yeah, he's made a bunch, hasn't he?
Yeah, of course he has. But he only references that. I think at a push, he would say Blade Trinity was awful as well.
Because it was.
Yeah. Although the thing about Blade Trinity, and this is the quickest tangent.
No, we can't go on a Blade tangent. We can't. I'm sorry. I'm calling it that we just don't have time.
The thing about Blade is...
you were like, I want this to be a quick episode because it's hot and it's late. Let's talk about Blade. Like, we both would have a lot to say on that.
I've got a 40-minute Blade Trinity diatribe specifically.
You and I would both have a lot to say about Blade Trinity.
That would be an awesome film for us to watch and review. Like, like that would be, and not because it's good, quite the opposite, actually. Anyway.
Ryan, you need to play the intro music to my favorite section of the podcast so we can just crack on and talk about this comic, because if not, we're going to be here all day.
So, that means time for General Thoughts. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. I can't believe that went as well as it did.
Do you know what, Ryan? Like, when you just introduce nonsense in the podcast, I get a bit angry. Podcast? I get a bit angry, right? Yeah. But when you want to have fun, I'm like, I'm all up for fun.
This is the thing. This is what you don't understand. When I'm introducing the nonsense that annoys you, that's my fun. That's
right. That is your way of having your way of having fun is introducing nonsense that I'm gonna hate.
But not exclusively. Like, all introducing nonsense, it's all fun to me. It's just that there's different reactions. If it goes well, like it just done now, it's like, oh, wow, that was great. But if you go, I'm like, that's a different kind of enjoyment. Like, equal.
Do you get a little bit excited when I get annoyed at you?
The real Schadenfreude, like that.
Do you take pleasure in how upset it makes me?
Only if it's a very low stakes thing.
You take pleasure in it.
Yeah, but I'm trying to establish that if bad things happen to you, I'm not like, haha, Jamie's suffering, whatever. Like, I empathize with that. But if I can introduce just a little bit of this is going to get a little reaction out of Jamie, I'm like, that's my...
Did you think the Green Lantern poem thing was going to make me annoyed?
I think you were going to be a bit like, oh, what is this? Like...
Whereas I just got fully on board with it with you.
But that could go 50. Like, you could have been hungrier today, and that would have gone... It would have had a different reaction.
It could have gone very differently.
And that's part of the appeal of this podcast.
So this comic book, it was written by Geoff Johns.
Now, do you recognize that name at all?
No.
So Geoff Johns, very prolific writer, especially in DC
Comics. I do
Comics.
recognize that name, you know.
Yeah, he wrote something that you were not a fan of.
What did he write?
I was going to say, that doesn't narrow it down at all. He was the writer of Flashpoint.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Which people say is great. Most people like.
Yeah, but people listen to Coldplay and voted for the Nazis. Like,
you can't trust people. So, yeah.
That's a Peep Show reference.
Yes. So it was written by Geoff Johns with pencils by Carlos Pacheco, but only for these kind of first 3 issues, I believe. And then the art on this, and the rest of it is Ethan Van Sciver.
Yeah. We'll go Sciver.
With inks by Jesús Merino and color by Moose Baumann. So the reason that this was one that we picked is because it's kind of the return of Hal Jordan. This was the first series to bring back the character after a little, they had like a 6-issue thing to be like, he's back, he's fine now. Because before this, in the early 90s, he went through a little, what they refer to as the parallax phase. So basically what happened was in the early 90s, they were trying to replace some of the biggest characters in DC. Batman got his back broken by Bane.
Yeah.
There was a lot of B's in that.
We've never read that. We should read that.
That's a big one. I definitely want to do at some point. They tried to replace him with Azrael, who was basically Batman with lots of like knives and sharp stuff out of his armor. And was like more violent. And then fans like, nah, I don't want that. Superman, Death of Superman was around this time. And they tried to replace him with 3 different Superman, like, replacement characters. But then he came back, like, issues later. So it's like, were they even really properly trying to replace him? I don't know. But they were just doing this kind of stuff at this time.
So did the Green Lantern stay replaced for a few years then?
Yeah. So what's interesting about the Green Lanterns is because it's this intergalactic space corps, essentially, there were already other Green Lanterns by this point. You had John Stewart, who my personal favorite, and Guy Gardner, guy with the bowl cut, who's played by
Nathan
Fillion. But then what happened was Hal Jordan.
Isn't he a bit of a tosser though?
Yeah. Well, we know him most from
Human Target,
where Guy Gardner fans were like, "No, you've made him too much of an arsehole."
Character assassination of Guy Gardner with his fucking awful blonde bowl cut.
But redhead.
He's redhead.
He's a glorious redhead.
Yeah, because in my head, I thought I was looking at Booster Gold when I saw Nathan Fillion. Yeah. Very different character.
Very different. So, but with this, speaking of character assassination, with Hal Jordan, they were like, how can we sideline Hal Jordan and get a new Green Lantern in? I know. What if a bad guy blows up his home city of Coastal Town, wherever it is, and he goes mad, kills all his friends, and the Guardians of the whatever, declares himself Parallax, and has to be defeated by the Justice League, and then we replace him with someone else.
Is that why the whole story of this is his friends and family being like, oh, it's weird the city's empty?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Oh, mate, none of it made a lick of fucking sense.
I know. And again, I intentionally don't load you with all this, like, pre-information stuff.
Yeah.
Because this was Green Lantern #1 when it came out. So the point was meant to be, like, this is a new start, like, check it out.
Right, okay. So I thought they were just, like, intentionally building suspense for something. But I was kind of reading it like, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, you were reading, like, traditional media. Like,
yeah.
Fool on you.
Well, but that's how I approach things here.
I know.
Like, and again, I am the type of person who I'm really into retro gaming, and so I'm buying myself as my birthday present a new Ambernick retro gaming console. and I have spent hours researching every model, even though they all have the same chipset, Ryan, because I want the perfect form factor.
Gotta have the perfect form factor.
And so
we've always said this.
I'm a person who researches things quite obsessively, but I try when I do the podcast to not let myself go down rabbit holes too much in research. So I do you send me a comic, and we have a DC Universe account.
DC Infinite Universe.
Yeah, we have a DC Infinite Universe account, and so you send me a comic, and I log in and I read the fucker, and then I talk about it.
Yeah.
And that has not served me well here, because I'll be honest with you, I did feel a little bit dropped into it.
But then here comes the kind of the analysis, as we as reviewers do, is should the comic should it have had some kind of like, anyway, here's what happened just before and now we're here. Like it should have had something. And Marvel do this even to this day, and for the longest time, one page before it properly starts, Spider-Man's Peter Parker and blah, blah, blah. And here's what has just happened. Or here's the status quo he's in right
And I think if you're bringing back a previous iteration of a character after, nearly a decade, that would have been really helpful. Because again, I did... when he was like stood on the balcony having that conversation with his brother?
Yeah.
And it's like, why are they? Do you know what I mean?
And a little bit at the beginning would have clarified that a little bit,
yeah,
wouldn't it?
and I kind of gave it the benefit of the doubt, and I was like, maybe they're just building some suspense here, and all will be revealed later. And then because that was in issue 2, and I got to issue 4, and it just kind of started to crack on with superhero stuff, and I was like, but where's the payoff for the like empty city and the very sad brother?
Either they could have had it a page at the beginning, or they could have done a bit of exposition, which we always like have a go at these comics for doing too much, and now it's not doing it enough.
Yeah, fully. In terms of, because we are still very much in general thoughts.
Yes. What were, beyond the confusion of the empty city and all that, what was your what was your level of enjoyment for this comic?
It's kind of bang average.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's one of those that's actually kind of difficult to talk about, because there's nothing like overtly wrong with it, but I just kind of felt the superhero stuff was maybe a little bland, and then the interpersonal stuff was a little confusing. Because normally what I would have tethered to in a comic like this, like, oh, there's like a bit of a fractured relationship with him and his brother, and like his home city's empty and we don't know why. Like that's interesting. And normally I would have like clicked into that, but they weren't really paying that off in a meaningful way. Now I know why.
Yeah. Because
they expected me to know what the fuck was going on. And then I found the superhero stuff just like a little bit stodgy. And again, you know, this is 21 years old, nearly 22 years old. So you'd think the issue would be that it's dated, but to be honest with you, we're still very much kind of in that same era of comics from the 2000s. Like comics from the 2000s don't feel massively different to comic books from this year. Yeah. This could have been released this year, and I believe it.
We're still in the modern era. The modern era started in 2000, and we're still in it.
Yeah, very much so. And, you know, comics kind of... I feel like back in the day, when comics were a more cutting-edge medium, and when less media existed, they sort of changed in decades, really. Yeah. You know, it doesn't start in 1980 and end at 1990, but every sort of, 7 to 12 years, say, things started to look and feel really different in comics. But over the past 2 decades, things haven't changed that much.
I think I can notice the change between the noughties and the 10s and the 20s,
yeah, totally.
But the differences are less stark than compared to the 90s and the 80s and the 70s.
Yeah, think about like comics. Think about if you were reading a comic from the 70s and a comic from the 90s.
Yeah, I was going to say, to be fair, I think the eras are more kind of 20-year based. So stuff looking like the noughties and the 10s makes sense because 80s and 90s was its own kind of thing, although quality was way higher in the 80s than the 90s. But it's still kind of grouped in like that phase. And then 60s to 70s is that Silver Age. So, yeah.
But I think it's interesting because in the 90s, you start to see the comic cartoons. And so a lot of the talent was being filtered off there because they were just really popular and kids loved them. And some of the best comic book cartoons.
Oh, yeah.
We live. The 90s was a golden age of comic book TV.
Yeah. Late 90s, early noughties, for sure.
And then the 10s and the 2010s was like a golden age of Marvel cinema, right?
Yeah.
So we've always had these stories that just talent is being put in other places. But yeah, I don't basically what I'm saying is you'd think that my reason for kind of finding it a bit staid would be that it is old, but it really isn't that. It doesn't even feel that dated. It just feels a bit lackluster. I don't know how did you feel about it?
I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. I think I went in with no expectations or lesser expectations because, again, I've never been a Green Lantern fan. So it was better than I thought it was going to be. I think the best way I can sum up how I enjoyed this, I think I enjoyed this. I think this, for me, is similar to how you find, like, 60s, 70s Spider-Man. Like, it's quaint, it's relatively low stakes, it's not that deep, but I got a fun out of, like, just following the story.
I get it, because I love 60s, 70s Spider-Man.
Yeah. I think
60s, 70s Spider-Man really tickles my pickle for some reason.
Yeah. I think this is closer to my version of that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You can't even, like, you acknowledge that it's not very deep, and one of my criticisms of this generally, I think my biggest criticism, is that they were doing a very loose kind of thing of how, and maybe it's old hat for Green Lantern stuff, because Green Lanterns, their thing runs on willpower. The worst thing for that is fear.
Yeah.
That's kind of the opposite of the Green Lanterns. And that's how dealing with his fears should have been a bit more front and center of this. And they touch on it a little bit, because, like, the reason he's living in this coast city, empty city, even if you don't know the reason for it, but there was references to people being like, his brother is like, oh, people think it's just going to get destroyed again or something. And him being like, no, I'm here because, essentially, like, in not so subtle way, being like, I'm here because I'm trying to make a point of we need to be brave and not cower away from things, and then making it interpersonal, being like, our parents would have lived here, they would have moved back.
I got a strong vibe. Can you remember that Batman DCKO spin-off?
The Nightfall one, yeah.
Yeah, where Jason Todd is, like, the only person living in Gotham.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah. I think they could have done a lot more with that. I think.
Yeah, because I kind of feel like that's a really compelling idea. Like a lonely superhero, alone, guarding an abandoned city.
Yeah.
And they just sort of, I don't know, I felt like they kind of set that up because they had to. Well, now I realise, I didn't realise at the time reading it, but now on reflection, now that you've told me what is actually fucking going on, they had to either just reboot it and not acknowledge what had happened.
Yeah.
Or acknowledge what had happened, right? And this is their way of acknowledging what they'd done, but they didn't have any interest in making anything out of that. They just needed to get to the superhero stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, they sort of whizzed through all of that in issue 1 and 2. And by issue 3, it's just like, he's being Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, yeah, they had this really interesting concept for the first 2 issues, but they didn't really do much with it.
Yeah. And the other thing as well is because the whole parallax thing that happened to this character before this, he, again, murdered other Green Lanterns, destroyed the core and all this, and a new Lantern had to rise up to help beat him, guy called...
I remember talking about the power. I remember talking about this storyline with you on another episode.
And but the thing is, he, in that original comic, Hal Jordan went insane and did all the bad stuff.
Yes,
and had to be
yeah, we've talked about this.
Then it was retconned by bringing him back in the Rebirth miniseries before this.
Yeah.
That Parallax is actually like a fear space entity that took him over and did the stuff, right?
Is that where the Red Lanterns come from?
It's not directly, but the Red Lanterns are introduced through this in this run, like later on. So it's kind of like domino
Green
effect.
Lanterns that are angry, aren't they?
Red Lanterns, yeah.
And a Supergirl becomes a Red Lantern, doesn't she?
As was Guy Gardner, yeah.
Comic book. Man,
there's a bunch of other Green Lantern cores that get introduced in this run.
I sometimes feel like because DC haven't done as thorough a job of like rebooting everything as often as Marvel do, shit gets just real dense when you start getting into DC. When you actually just start peeling back the layers, you're like, fuck me, there's just so much lore.
Well, that's comics in general. And like generally, like the good stuff rises to the top, the bad stuff gets forgotten or gets brought back 20 years later by Tom King. Or Matt Fraction or someone. Or Chip Zdarsky. But yeah. But the thing is, they couldn't kind of decide what they want to do with. Like, obviously, the intention is they want to reboot them. They were like, Hal's back, he's Green Lantern, everything's fine, like you like it, and
was
we're
the other
going
guy
forward.
not popular then?
Not popular enough to keep going.
Well,
I mean, he
this is
still
it, isn't
exists as a character. What's his name? Kyle something. I can't remember his name. When that goes to show, I can name the other ones. But I think he's like Tim Drake. He's got his fans, but he's not the favorite.
Man, I don't like talking about Tim Drake lest I upset the Tim Drake fans because they're a bit feral.
To explain to you the Lanterns as using the Robins.
Oh,
right?
do that, yeah.
Hal
That's great.
Lantern is Dick Grayson.
Well, then my
naturally.
favorite,
Yeah.
obviously.
Jason Todd is Guy Gardner.
That's unfair. That's unfair on Jason, man. We like Jason Todd.
Redheaded stepchild of the franchise.
He fucking is as well, isn't he? And just before they killed him, he was just being a shitty teenager.
Yeah. Kyle Gardner, I think his name is. Again, I can't be asked to look it up because that says more about the character.
Same surname as Guy Gardner.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely not Guy Gardner then. What's his... Oh, god damn it. Hang on.
You're going to have to look it up, aren't you?
It's annoying me now.
Oh, right. I love it when you give up and Google something. It just brings me joy. That's my little bit of podcast Schadenfreude.
Kyle Rayner. And we all have our bits. So Kyle Rayner, he's kind of Tim Drake, where people are like, there's dozens of us fans of this character or whatever. Damian Wayne, probably closer to Jon Stewart, although Jon Stewart was the second Green Lantern. So, or maybe was he third after Guy Gardner? I don't know. But Jon Stewart's a different character. Like, he was the guy in the trailer who wasn't Hal Jordan, essentially.
Yeah.
So he's kind of the young upstart, like anti-authoritarian, like, you know, like just because I joined the Corps doesn't mean I believe everything. I'm just going to follow you blindly.
So the Green Lantern that we saw in that trailer is Hal Johnson.
Hal Jordan.
The
main guy.
And then so Jon Stewart has always been black. Yeah. That's what you knew. What I was going to ask. You knew what I was trying to ask.
And he's always been my favorite just because he was in the Justice League cartoon in the early noughties. And I was like, that's my Green Lantern because I don't know anything else.
I'll be honest with you. I think if you asked me what Green Lantern looked like, I would have described Jon Stewart to you.
Yeah, you've probably seen him in more media than the others.
Yeah, because like I had a vague recollection because Ryan Reynolds was Hal.
Yeah, Hal Jordan. Yeah,
Hal Jordan. I had a vague recollection that Green Lantern had in my head. Green Lantern was. I knew a bit about Green Lantern. But now seeing Jon Stewart, he looks very recognizable to me.
And you know what as well? Gotta slap myself on the wrist here. Missed out an important one. Pre-Hal Jordan, there was a different Green Lantern when the Green Lantern thing was different. A guy named Alan Scott. And he was a magical Green Lantern. Had nothing to do with space or aliens or whatever. But he was in the golden era of comics with the Justice Society. So
before the Justice League.
Yeah, exactly. So he's kind of been brought back in a weird way. Kind of nostalgic. He's also an old character that they brought back and be like, by the way, he's gay now. To be like, we've got gay characters.
Sake.
But that apparently some really good stuff has been written for him. Like, as in really good LGBT stories.
By the way, just for reference for anyone who doesn't know us.
Jamie's homophobic. So that's not it.
I'm not going ugh because I have an aversion to gay characters. I'm going ugh because they couldn't be bothered to make new interesting characters who just happen to be gay. They did the J.K. Rowling thing of being like, oh, well, Dumbledore was always gay. It just bothers me.
So my issue with that, because I had the exact same thought. I think the J.K. Rowling one is especially egregious because she finished writing the character.
Yeah.
And after the fact, went, oh, yeah, he was gay. But we're never going to... And then even when they got to the, was it Magical Beasts and Where to Find Them series, they're like, oh, you can do some gay Dumbledore stuff now because he made him gay and now he's back in the films, younger version of him. And then they didn't.
This is the point in his life where he would be doing some gay stuff.
He'd be doing a lot of gay stuff
like,
at this time, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if you were as a young man finding out that you had magical powers and you're gay, you'd be like, I'm going to go have some fucking freaky magical gay sex.
Yeah, exactly. At least...
That sounds like fun. We should do that.
I think that's just taking drugs.
Yeah, what I'm describing is chemsex.
Yeah. I will say, to sum this up, that I did read the first few pages of the Alan Scott comic years ago, so I'm recalling this from memory.
Good.
But all I remember is the beginning was something to do with him being, I think, in like the military or the army in the 50s.
Vomit a rainbow.
And it was like, buy it, gays.
Somebody found some pink kryptonite. It's like, dude, it's not even your thing. And he's like, I'm gay now.
Oh no, pink kryptonite. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, I'm gay now.
That's a fucking DC deep cut.
Although it was recently brought back by the Kryptonite Spectrum with the The ice cream
Was that
guys.
one of the kryptonites they used?
Yeah, because he got blasted by, and they looked to Jimmy Olsen, and they were like,
he did, yeah.
But then he was like, "Oh, it's worn off already." But I'm just paying my good friend a compliment.
Yeah,
and it's like, Superman.
They should have fucked.
That
would have been way more interesting.
Anyway, the first few pages, the story is that he's like in the military in the 50s. And it's something to do with like him getting discovered at a time when it would be bad. So it's about like that was the first few pages were indicating there's some kind of storyline of him hiding himself in that way.
Okay.
So
I see the merit in that.
We'll cover it at some point. I mean, we're going to talk about Green Lantern again because the Lantern TV show. So we've got more stuff. Anyway.
So this Hal Jordan comic.
Yeah.
We should talk about art.
Yeah, the latest I think we've gotten to starting with the arting in an episode.
Yeah, we don't really start with the arting anymore. I think we need to change what we call that.
But then is that like a ironic, like...
It's a nod to the fact it used to be the first thing we did.
And it's a little bit like, was it Robin Hood, Little John? It's a little bit of that, isn't it?
I do like the art.
I enjoyed it, yeah. I did find this is kind of art and general, so good transition. I thought it was paced very well. I liked it was paced in a way where I was like, the beats were good and I was following along. I was never bored, even though I agree with you. Like you say, it was just kind of stuff happening. Alien stuff was happening with the plot, but it happened in a way where I was like, oh, it's kicked up. Oh, it's died down a bit. Oh, it's like, that sounds like a really basic way to credit pacing, but it went along at a pace that I found enjoyable to read.
I struggled to get a good feel on the pacing because you encouraged me to try something I'd never tried today, which was the panel by panel view on DC Infinite.
Yeah, so for as long as we've been using DC Infinite, it's really especially stupid that neither of us knew that it was a thing. Because when you're on like a comic reader thing, there's all different options. It's like, as long as I can read the comic, that's fine. It wasn't until I tried, like, what does this button do? I was like, oh, this is way better.
Well, I did it for the whole time and I didn't like it.
I preferred it.
I like the page layout, so I like to see it page by page. So I definitely, because my eyes aren't great, I definitely sometimes... I definitely like zoom in and out of panels a lot. And so I liked that I could just see everything. But it kind of like, you know, when they do the thing in comic books where you see the same panel, 2 panels in a row, but something changes. I like scanning through that on the page, I realized. I didn't like so much just seeing them one after the other. So I don't have as much of a sense of how well paced it was because I was reading it panel by panel. And I think part of pacing for me is how much of that stuff you put on a page because your brain naturally wants to group it together into like reading pages.
Yeah.
But I thought, but now you've got it open in front of us and you're scrolling back through it for me. I do like the way it's laid out. I like that sort of third on the top, third on the bottom, and then 3
it varies
portrait panels in the middle.
Yeah, it varies quite a bit, which I think helps the pacing because you're not getting like a repetitive. I think when page layouts get repetitive, that's when you kind of notice it and you get a bit like, oh, it's just kind of same thing over and over again.
Or like Tom King and his thirds.
Yeah, but
the old Tom King thirds.
The old Tom King classic thirds. He does use them more sporadically now. I think it's because he got annoyed.
I reread Supergirl again after watching the film.
Yeah, so did I.
So good, man.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So good.
And luckily, someone made a video about what the DC studio should have copied over from the comic that they...
Were you that person?
Well, not many people know because it didn't get many views, but it is out there.
Was it a little known YouTuber called Mr. Jeans?
They call him Mr. Jeans. Yes, that's
it was
the one.
Mr. Jeans. Yeah, yeah. I've been watching House of the Dragon recently, so I'm just about to start season 2 because I'd never watched any of it, and she was great in that as well. She was really good in that.
Yeah, yeah. And really especially good finding older, younger actresses and actors that looked and acted very similar.
Yeah, although the scene with her and Matt Smith in the brothel in season 1 was a little bit uncomfy.
It's a bit like, oh, that's the realism of the medieval time.
Pedophilia.
Not great.
And George R. R. Martin loves throwing a little bit of that in sometimes. Because I've read Fire and Blood.
And that's like accounts from other people, isn't it?
Well, Fire and Blood is the source material for that.
Yeah, but what I mean is it's written in a way where it's not like a traditional narrative story.
Written as a fake history,
yes.
Yeah. And so I wondered how much I'd like the TV show because I've read Fire and Blood. But I read Fire and Blood when it came out nearly 10 years ago and haven't read it since and have been I've enjoyed the TV show enough that I'm probably going to reread Fire and Blood based on it. So, sorry, Green Lantern. I like the way it was drawn. Overwhelming. I mean, very Y2K. Very Y2K.
It was the style at the time.
Color bomb. It's just a big explosion of color.
Yeah, I would have liked a bit more contrast between, because I thought, like, as a setting, having it in basically big open desert essentially around these Air Force bases and that, having this alien shit happening as a contrast to that, I think they could have done more to contrast the two different things.
Yeah,
and they didn't as such.
I think so. I think you're probably right. Yeah,
but the penciling I thought was especially good. I got a snapshot here. It's my new thing now with the snippet tool on Windows. I take a little snapshot to remember. But like just the Green Lantern, he's flying a jet. He's got a glass thing that this Manhunter character has just shattered. And the detail in the glass shattering I thought was especially good. There were moments where I couldn't quite make out what was happening in some fight scenes.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of this specific artist, the way they kind of show fights isn't very clear, because I've got this one panel where Hal Jordan and Kilowog are like having a spar session, and I can't tell what's happening in it.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm with you.
But then even beyond that, I said back to the penciling, there are some great detailed images.
I was going to mention the alien autopsy. Yeah. I'm really glad that was a panel you pulled up, because I like that panel.
It was going to be that one or the one of the alien after he's been hit by the car going, I just came out for a cigarette.
Yes, that's funny. But no, yeah, the alien autopsy was a particular standout for me, because again, you know, our conception of an alien and greys, like that type of alien, a grey.
Yeah.
I've seen so many different parodies of that, because there was a video, wasn't there? Really famous hoax video where somebody did an autopsy on an alien, on a grey.
Yeah, I don't know if that video ever got out or if it was recreated or something, but like I know the alien autopsy is literally what's known as, yeah.
And so you see so many parodies of a grey on a table being autopsy. And this was just a really lovely sort of interpretation of that, wasn't it?
I'm going to do a real quick tangent. I hope this doesn't go far. I think you'll appreciate it. There was a British comedy film called Alien Autopsy, like in the noughties.
Yeah.
Do you remember who was in it?
In my head, I want to say Simon Pegg was in it.
No, you're thinking of Paul, which he was in with.
I am thinking of Paul, yeah.
Which is very similar.
Do you remember it, though? I can't remember who was in it, though.
You'd never guess. It was Britain's own Ant and Dec.
Fuck off.
It was their attempt at a movie career, or starting one.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they have prominent roles?
They're the leads.
Fuck off. Ant and Dec are never the leads in Alien Autopsy. Because they did start out as actors.
Yeah, I wonder why they pivoted. If you want to see what we're seeing, just Google Alien Autopsy Ant and Dec. And if you're American, don't worry, you don't need to know who they are.
Shit, that is Ant and Dec. That's so funny. And
for Americans, they are essentially our version of like a Ryan Seacrest type, which is like a celebrity host of reality shows.
But
basically.
They got their start in a very colloquial kids' TV show.
Biker Grove, yeah.
So it was about a secondary school in like a pretty rundown area of Newcastle, which is a city in the northeast of England. And so they kind of got their start, and their characters came as a pair. So their entire career, they came as a pair. And then they tried to have a rap career as their characters.
Right, yeah.
Because they would PJ and Dunk. So they released songs as Dunk and PJ, and now they host things like Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah, essentially. So I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Those are the type of things.
Yeah, I think they used to host Pop Idol, didn't they? But somebody else hosts it now.
I don't even know the difference. Talent shows, that's all I know.
It's all the same nonsense to me. I've not watched any of it since I left home. But
no. So, getting on to the story, which I don't think we're going to have much to say about in the beats.
There's not much going on.
But what I thought was interesting is I think they intentionally have gone this route, because I think to them, this, like I said earlier, they're kind of easing back into this new character.
Yeah,
soft reboot.
Yeah, sometimes we read things that an expression you like to use is a big swing and a miss. And this isn't a big swing and a miss. Like, this is clearly intentional.
I think it's doing what it intended.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely doing what it intended. And I suppose, can we forgive it being a little boring? Because it held your attention, right?
It was interesting enough for me that I was like, I would like to keep it. Because so the first story arc is only 3 issues.
Yeah.
I thought, well, I'll see what 4 and 5 is, because we normally do about 5 or 6 issues. And the reason I said to you, I was like, make sure you read 4, because 4 is when I think the first 3 issues are literally here's a quick story. We're setting up the new Earth, Hal Jordan on Earth and what he's doing and stuff, and he's back in the Air Force and blah. And here's the new characters. Here's a quick classic Green Lantern story. Aliens on Earth. They're the Manhunters. They're the Green Lanterns before the Green Lanterns or whatever. And Hal's got to deal with it in a kind of exciting way. And then issue 4, it's like, right, here's the proper stuff now starting. So I said to you, like, read issue 4 because he's back on the planet Oa, where the Green Lantern's core is based.
And it settled in a bit in issue 4, didn't it? Issue 4 was probably my favorite.
Yeah, and I think that's why if you got through the first 3 issues, and if readers at the time had a bit of like, oh yeah, we're back to normal now, and then it's building up to this.
Is this a bit of a Parks and Rec situation?
I wouldn't go so far as that, because again, I think these first 3 issues have done what they were meant to do.
Reference for anybody who doesn't know what I mean.
Yeah.
Most people say you shouldn't bother with the first season of Parks and Recreations.
And you shouldn't. As a big fan of Parks and Rec, you shouldn't bother with it.
Do you know
Just start season 2.
I recently started it on season 2 and actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people, like myself, started with season 1 and go, that's fine, but yeah. And then go back and then see people online and stuff being like, no, season 2, you need to get to there. I don't think that as much. Again, I think the first 3 issues did exactly what they needed to do. But the thing is, the reason this series is known and why I picked it, it's not because it's amazing from the start. It's because all this stuff builds up to some events, which are like the biggest events in Green Lantern's history. Both
so this is what we're actually doing is looking at the very start of what becomes a huge run for Green Lantern lore and everything else around it moving forward.
It's a little bit. I'd compare it a little bit more to Invincible. Not the same quality, because Invincible is one of the greatest comics, in my opinion.
Sort of reminds me a little bit of Invincible, though.
But the fact that it's starting more quaint with very obvious signs of building up to bigger stuff in the future. I think that's what it's doing.
He did such a good job with that, though.
Yeah.
He did such a good job.
We're talking about Robert Kirkman.
Kirkman and Invincible, yeah. He did such a good job of, like, letting that story really slowly amp up. And maybe this will do that.
You know, first issue of Kirkman's series Terminal just came out, which is his version of the X-Men, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, it came out a few weeks ago. But I read it. It got my interest. I want to see where it's going. As I said, I've only read 1 issue so far. Got some twists and turns.
Oh, we're gonna end up reviewing that, aren't we?
Some classic Kirkman turns. But yeah, so the fact that it's so quaint at the start, by issue 4, the big events it's leading up to, which maybe one day we'll cover if the Green Lantern show keeps going and we need more excuses to cover Green Lantern stuff. It gets to a big event called the Sinestro Corps or Sinestro War, something like that. But it's basically the Green Lanterns versus the Yellow Lanterns.
Right.
Before this, and I didn't know this, Sinestro and the Yellow Corps, I thought they were like an existing thing. But it turns out Sinestro was just being the one Yellow Lantern himself, and then he creates it in this run.
Right, okay.
And then after that, the big event after that is called Blackest Night. And that's...
Nice.
And that's about the introduction of the Black Corps, which is the undead. So it's people coming back for life. Characters in DC Universe who had been previously killed off, coming back as Black Lantern zombies.
Do we get Jason Todd Black Lantern zombie?
No, I think he was already not even already back by then. I don't know. Maybe there's a reference to it or something. Yeah. But yeah. But
I feel like the Green Lantern thing of just like, oh, there's these other color lanterns who are the bad guys is a little bit.
I think they only do that essentially for the Yellow Lanterns.
It's a bit.
They only do it once.
What's anti-Superman called?
Bizarro.
Yeah, it's a bit Bizarro.
I'd say it's a bit close to Reverse Flash.
Oh, fucking I hate Reverse Flash so much. Reverse Flash annoys me so much.
Yeah, but that's unfortunate. It's one of those things. A lot of these characters were created in like the 60s and 70s, and they were like, "What should we do for the villain?" Opposite, like, but because they were then established, it's the opposite guy. But then because they were established, and then years later, they're like, "Well, Sinestro's the main villain of Green Lantern. We can't not do it. It's like doing Batman and not doing Joker." So I think that's the
man. I'd love for someone to do Batman and not do Joker.
Well, to be fair, the last movie. The Batman, the Robert Pattinson one, was really good.
Robert Pattinson. That is how we should refer to Robert Pattinson's Batman from now on.
When we're talking about Batman, it's Robert Pattinson, yeah.
Yeah, nice. I suppose no, it didn't, did it? He didn't do the Joker thing.
No, although they still had to have him in like a deleted scene and then a post-credits.
Yeah, so they kind of wanted to have their cake and eat it with that one.
Yeah, apparently then, well, I don't know, what's the next one's been delayed for bloody ages now anyway. But yeah, so in terms of story, I think it was enough fun if you... This is a great test of if you like Green Lantern at all. I think if you read this and you're like, nope, still doing nothing for me, then
it really didn't like pique my interest that much. And again, that's so unfair on it because there was nothing wrong with it. They really like dialogue was fine, solid.
I think this series is a classic example of the best stuff about it is the stuff where you have to read tens of issues at a time to get there to appreciate it. You can't just show it to someone and be like, look how cool the Sinestro Corps is. Like, well, you have to read like 20 issues just to lead up to it, just to, So maybe we'll try that in the future. We'll be like, if we do a Sinestro Corps episode, Jamie, do you understand what was happening in it?
No.
Exactly.
Never.
And then after that, we'll probably do Blackest Night as well. But then, again, to show how far in advance, Blackest Night's the second event. If we count this in terms of eras of this run of comics, beginning Sinestro Corps, Blackest Night. The Blackest Night being the third part, the main character behind that is a guy called the Black Hand, who was in issue 4 of this. So he's the guy on the plane who, again, bunch of stuff has happened in the Rebirth comics. Hal Jordan is inhabited by the Spectra spirit, and he cuts off Black Hand's hand for some reason. But just to show they're sowing the seeds of this stuff that early on is kind of crazy. So yeah, maybe we'll come back to it. Maybe we'll do some like the one-shot stuff like Alan Scott, Green Lantern, and see how that compares. But in some form or another, we'll probably come back and talk about the Green Lanterns TV show at the very least.
Yeah, because I'm excited. That looks really good. I'm kind of excited for that. The trailer does like a very generic trailery thing. Like it definitely looks like a 2026 trailer.
Do you think I should have shown you the trailer without any of the Green Lantern stuff?
No, I think you did the right thing. Show me the longer one.
Seeing if you got angry, like, why isn't there any green in this?
I mean, I'm not that much of a comic book nerd, am I? I'm not that much of an anorak, Ryan.
And that's what makes the podcast interesting.
I am a nerd, but for other things.
Oh yeah, you couldn't do this podcast if you weren't some kind of nerd about some stuff.
Yeah,
like that would have been crazy.
It's weird though, because like people just when I tell people I have a comic book podcast, they assume I'm like a massive comic book nerd. And then I talk to them about comics, and I know quite a lot about comics, so they really think I'm a massive comic book nerd. And then I have to be like, I'm not actually like that deep in the weeds with comics. I just read one a week and talk about them a lot.
Yeah.
And so I've accrued a bunch of knowledge about comic books that I've not really earned. You know what I mean?
So nearing the end of it, before we get into the comment corner, there were some big like casting stuff in the MCU that we could talk about quickly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This has passed me by. I saw a TikTok the other day where somebody got really excited because Sadie Sink is listed as being in the Secret Wars.
I didn't see that, but then there's so much like rumor mill stuff that like makes the news.
Let's have a look at this casting stuff.
So the biggest one is Ghost Rider, who they announced as Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, I think he looks quite good. I know that happened before we went and saw Spider-Man, didn't it?
Yes, because we were talking about it while the film was about to play.
Oh, so we didn't talk about it on air. Yeah. We talked about it in the cinema.
Yeah.
I initially I was like, oh, he's too pretty for that. But then I realized he's aged a bit. Yeah. And actually he's kind of perfect. Also he did the film Drive, like earlier in his career. That is a Ghost Rider film without flames and spirits and stuff. Drive is such a good film. Such a good fucking soundtrack.
Definitely advertised the wrong way though. Because I think it was shown to people, it was presented to people as like a kind of action driving film, and
really
it's not that. No, not that at all. But yeah, I think apparently he really wanted the role. Like he's been kind of quietly behind the scenes campaigning for it with Kevin Feige. So eventually got it.
So funny.
Yeah. But he's manifesting himself, and all that kind of stuff. And then the other one was Black Panther casting.
Yeah, because they've casted a new Black Panther to play the original Black Panther's son.
Yes.
I don't recognize him though. Should I recognize him?
Quick editor's note, because we forgot to mention it in the original recording, but the actor who was cast as Black Panther is David Johnson. He's a very recent up-and-comer. So, like, the two films that kind of put him on the map came out last year. And they were Alien Romulus, where he played a cyborg who's very subtle, like, very minimal, like, talking and action stuff. But then there's a bit in the film where he gets like a different chip and he gets a bit like crazy. So he like very contrasting, what do you call it? Wide berth of acting rangeful, you know. And then
that was a sentence.
And then he did.
You're saying he has quite good range.
Yes. Oh yeah, it's fantastic range, because then he did the other film that came out at the same time was The Long Walk, which is the Stephen King film about.
I've not seen either.
They're both fantastic. The Long Walk especially good because it's like that Stephen King-esque horror, like from one of his lesser-known stories.
Yeah.
But in that, he plays like a kind of kid grew up on the streets who is like trying to make a better life for himself kind of thing. Very different roles.
Are you optimistic about it then?
I think he's fantastic, yeah. I think he's a great actor. My mark for great actors is when they do two very different roles and excel in both.
Which I agree with.
As soon as I saw him in both of those films, I was like, he's fantastic.
Is there any other big casting that we're not aware of yet?
There's
smaller... Is there anything that I don't know about?
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's smaller casting news for X-Men.
Do we know who's going to be playing Wolverine from now on?
No, they're not going to touch Wolverine for a while. The strong rumors I've seen is that they are apparently going to bring Daphne Keane, I think her name is, back as X-23. Again, that's just rumors, that's not confirmed. But I hope they do that, because I think they've got a ready-made Wolverine who isn't Hugh Jackman already, who people already are fond of.
Everyone really likes Daniel...
Radcliffe?
Yeah.
I don't think everyone. I think that's a casting thing that we've enjoyed, but I don't think that's like a common sentiment.
Oh, I thought there was a good push for him. I think he'd be good.
I don't think he wants to do it. I don't think he wants to do it.
Oh, is he? Yeah, I imagine. Because that's not the kind of thing he does, is it?
No. But what you've got is you've got younger actors, because the X-Men is mostly relatively unknown actors.
Yeah.
So and young, because it's meant to be the young X-Men coached by Professor X or whatever. So Sadie Sink.
Well, she's already locked in.
Sadie Sink we know as Jean Grey. The guy called Kit Connor as Cyclops, who is this guy in the middle here, who I think looks the part. I haven't seen him in anything.
Yeah, he looks great. He looks like he could do some really good shagging.
Yeah, Samara Weaving as Emma Frost. I think she's great for that character.
Don't know who she is.
She's the niece, I think, off the top of my head, of Hugo Weaving. He was Agent Smith in Matrix.
Is she the one from Euphoria?
No, you're thinking of Sydney Sweeney.
I am thinking of Sydney Sweeney. They look similar, mate.
But Samara Weaving's a better actress, I think.
Right, okay.
But she's the niece of Hugo Weaving. He was V for Vendetta, and he was in The Lord of the Rings as something, an elf.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Big, well-known actor. But yeah, she's very good as well. So, and she looks the part for Emma Frost. Then it's rumors beyond that. There's a guy, Adam Driver, I think is strongly rumored for Dr. Mr. Sinister.
As much as I like Adam Driver, I think that's terrible casting.
I think he could do it. I think he can do that big, bold, like a campy acting. Like he's very, very good on SNL, which is like a kind of stepping stone.
I kind of feel like he has a very big voice, but I like him in kind of flatter roles. I find him quite level and quite, not in a bad way.
You think he's better at that?
Yeah, he was in a TV show called Girls, I think.
Yes, that was the role that got him famous.
He was amazing in that, but again, his whole thing there was that he was quite level, you know?
But you think, as opposed to his Kylo Ren performance, where he's a bit like the dark side and like...
I didn't like him that much as Kylo Ren.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't really give a shit about his
That's
Star Wars
maybe my least favourite role I've ever seen him in. I really liked him in Girls, whatever that's called, that TV show.
Girls.
It is called Girls. yeah.
It's like, what's that Matrixy film? What's that called?
And then I really liked him in the Black Klansman.
Yes. Yeah, he's really good.
He was really, really good in that. Kylo Ren was like, obviously that was his huge breakout. Like, this is his big role. Probably going to be quite career defining for him, but I didn't like him as much as that. He wasn't bad. It's just not what I liked him as much in. But again, I do like Adam Driver. I think he's cool. I think he brings a certain like dignity to things. But yeah, I'm willing. I don't think it's great casting, but I'm willing to see what he does with it because he'll probably do something interesting with it.
Apparently, his best role, and it's something I haven't seen, but I've heard is very good, is Marriage Story. It's the one with him and Scarlett Johansson, and it's just literally a couple divorcing, basically.
Yeah, I've heard. That was a Netflix one, wasn't it?
Might have been. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
I've not had Netflix for a while. But yeah, I heard nothing but good things about that.
Yeah, and there was someone cast as Professor X, I think, whose name I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's
bald as fuck.
No, but I looked it up. Tom Pelfrey was his name, and I know him from stuff, and he's been really good in other stuff. So I was like, that's great casting. But the first thing I did as soon as I realized he was strongly rumored for it was I Googled like him bald. And because it was like the day the casting news or rumors came out, I was like, there's no AI bald shots of him. Like, how has that happened? And then literally I checked like not 1 or 2 days later, I checked again and there was a bunch. I was like, finally, like, come on. Like
they'd gotten busy and made them.
And he looked good bald. So
right?
I think he looks the part.
That's the important thing, isn't it?
Anyway, the last we will end is as we always do. And I somewhat hesitant to do this because we're recording quite late at night and I have neighbors, but it is the time that it is. So we have to say that we are now in Comment Corner. Didn't put all my thumb into that like normal, but...
No, you really didn't send that as hard as you usually do, but I'll live with it.
I'll double it for next time. But we just have a couple of comments, and when I say a couple, I mean 2 from one person from on Spotify, one Michael Blackwood, who made a point that apparently me being exasperated at the tangents is disappointing. Bring in more tangents, and then more in capitals.
Thank you. I love it.
And you know what? That's, again, Adam Driver, Kylo Ren, one of the big moments from Star Wars, I think it was in Last Jedi, when he was like, fire more lasers. And the guy's like, we don't have any more lasers. He just goes, more! So it all comes around. And also, as if we're getting food recommendations for Norwich now. You get all sorts when you listen to this podcast, as we've established.
Are we getting food recommendations for Norwich? Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say, that was going to be the most egregious, like, why are we talking about food recommendations, Norwich? Like, my brother in Christ, you were the one who was giving the recommendations.
The Iraqi Cafe.
Yes.
But everyone should go there. It looks really good.
And if chances are you're probably not anywhere even near Norwich, but you should check out any local Middle Eastern places near you because they've probably got great food.
Also, we should probably just take a moment for me to promote my local boss man. He's on, No, I'm not going to do that, Ryan. I just realized.
You're not going to say where you...
Yeah. That would necessitate me pinning my address down, not to one city as we already have done, but to like 3 streets.
I literally almost did the same thing last week and had to bleep it out. I was like, oh yeah, there's place right next to me that's a really rare kind of restaurant to find in a city like Norwich.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Because you give so much of yourself when you do what we do, Ryan. We give so much of ourselves to the podcast.
And if we give our locations away, there's a good chance we will have some angry Tim Drake or Kyle Rayner fans. Like, how dare you?
The Tim Drake fans will find us. I think that's the episode, Ryan.
Yeah, I think that's it. And we've done, again, we said we were going to do short. I don't know I can't remember if we actually said that at the top or not.
We did.
But
we've actually done it.
Yeah, we've done it. We've completed our contractual obligation. And next week, maybe Lantern stuff again, depending on or maybe something else. So tune in.
Maybe
again
Ryan and I just review pornography.
I mean, can you review it if you only watch 11 seconds of it?
Bye.
Anyway, tune in next week for what we're going to do, whatever that is.
Whatever we do.
Thanks for listening.
Peace.
And thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, then please subscribe to get notified of our future episodes as well. And if you're feeling particularly generous, then please leave a 5-star review on whatever podcast app you're using. If you'd like to get in contact with us, then send an email to comicglitter@gmail.com. You can also watch videos by me on the Comic Stand YouTube page, which is linked in the description. Thank you, goodbye.